They're twisting the text. They are trying to conceal its true meaning. We've heard, but their edits are shallow. The truth will out someday.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, where did Mal go? All right, that's odd. So good evening, everyone. Tonight, we have a large panel. We're going to have Mal hopefully joining us in just a minute, as well as Adam Seeker in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we have Odon, we have JC, we have Usama. Although Usama was someone that I met. I was walking down the street. He looked very lost. He looked like he needed someone to be kind to him. So I let him in, gave him some food, and he hasn't left. He hasn't gone home. So I guess I'm stuck with him right now.
Good.
Yes.
Good. You know, you can always feed me anytime with any food as long as it is halal food. I only eat halal. Period.
Okay. Yeah, but this is Poland. This is the pork capital of the world.
Oh,
So
my word. I know the difference between pork and chicken.
Don't worry. It was chicken. Don't worry. So tonight we're talking about the Qira'at. And Usama's here to lend expertise in Arabic. We've got Odon, who is obviously a well-known author who's written about Islam and done some incredible research on the early origins of Islam. JC's been taking apart the narrative in the Quran as an author and looking at how the text could have been repurposed or edited to provide a different narrative, but really shows that Jesus is really who Muhammad is in the Quran. And today we're talking about the Qira'at, which are the different variants, or as they quote unquote readings of the Quran. There are 14 official canonical readings. Each one has 2 transmissions, so that leaves you with 42 different variants of the Quran that are considered canonical. And then, of course, the Hafs Quran has 4 separate readings.
You exaggerate. It's just different accents. Like here in
No,
America,
it's
people in the South, they say y'all, and people in the North, all of you. Y'all is all of you. There's no differences.
pork speaking, so don't listen to Usama. That he's under the influence of pork right now. So the Hafs Quran has 4 different readings. So that leaves you with 45 canonical Qurans at a minimum. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at the differences. And no, the differences will be things like he said versus she said. They did it, that group over there, as opposed to this group did it to them. Or no. Group B did it to Group A. Group A did it to Group B. It's complete opposites in many cases. We're going to start looking at some of these, and hopefully we'll learn something. So yeah, Usama, we'll start with you. Just say a quick hello, and then we can dive in.
Yes, hello, and greetings to you and everybody in the panel and all the wonderful people who are with us right now and those who will be joining us later. In the name of our Lord and our Savior Jesus Christ, for all those who are in the United States, happy belated Thanksgiving, and for the rest of the world, as a believer in Christ, we're always thankful for His goodness. So good to be with you guys.
Great. Odon, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Very, very happy to be back with you. And I think we'll have a very thrilling discussion about this topic.
I think so. It's always good to have you guys on. I mean, it's always great. It's an honor to have you on the channel with us. Pity that Mal fell off. Maybe he's having connection problems again, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, JC.
Mm-hmm. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you, Lloyd, for hosting with this wonderful panel. Again, it's always lovely to speak with all of you. And today we have a quick look at the Qira'at, which is a topic everybody really likes, and anyone who has done any work on the Qira'at know that we could talk about it for like years. There is so much stuff, so we're going to just explain a little bit of what happened and have a vivid conversation about that, and then show some examples, just like the examples that Lloyd has mentioned, just for people watching and they are familiar with different readings. The ones we're going to focus on today, I think Jay Smith might speak about them quite soon because he mentioned that on a video with Al-Fati. So we're trying to get there just first, show that to the public, and then when he actually publishes his research, if I got that right, then we can compare notes and see if we enhance each other's arguments or what is going on. So that's the plan for today. Qira'at, Qira'at, Qira'at.
Superb stuff. So, guys, we're hoping Mal will join us. I think he may be having internet problems. He was here a moment ago and dropped off, unfortunately. But yeah, let's hope he does come back. And what does OR8X say? My current thinking is the different versions are different collections created between the disintegration of the Nazarene Arab Alliance and Malik's start of consolidating the text. I mean, yeah, that's as good a theory as any. So yeah, let's put you on the screen. And JC, over to you.
Right. So let's begin with a fun part of the history of the Qira'at, very recent, and is as recent as 10 years ago. So until 10 years ago, and this is when people started to learn about the Qira'ats, up to that point, every Muslim had been told that there is only one Quran, that Quran is perfectly preserved and is the one they have, and that every Muslim, when they recite the Quran, they are reciting the actual words that were given to Muhammad by Allah 1400 years ago. So that was the narrative up to 2016. And then at the Speaker's Corner in London, this little event happened when Hatun Tash, Jay Smith, and their team showed up and spoiled everything with 26 different Qurans. And that was back then. Hatun has since then found quite a few more. I don't know what is the current count of actual Qurans, but lots of them. And yes, as the absolute legend that she is, she single-handedly destroyed the myth of perfect preservation by showing actual Arabic Qurans that had been in circulation and so on.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, I just want to share something about a personal experience I have myself. As I grew up in Egypt, heard the same hogwash, one perfect holy word of Allah, uncreated, eternal. Actually, it was written on the guarded board 50,000 years before Allah created Adam and Eve, or Adam and Steve, because in the Quran, zawjuh, or zawjuk, his husband, not his wife. Anyway, so I got sick and tired, tried to convince this nutcase Muslims that we do not have different reading or different manuscript for the Bible, but we have different translation. So it did not fit in their mind that King James, New King James, NIV, and whatever, all this 30-some English translation of the Bible. But they insist one pure Arabic, one holy Arabic, the perfect word of Allah, uncreated, will never change. It will always be. I challenge you to show me one word in the Quran is different. I challenge you to show me one dot. You know what dot is? That is what created the Arabic language. In the Quran is different. When in reality, there was no dots in the Quran. There was no vowels in the Quran. God help us. I wish I know today. I wish I know then, 30 years ago, what I know today about the Quran. I would have easily destroyed millions of Muslims in Egypt alone, my home country, because they are the one who brag about the Quran. They are the one who, our Quran. What I did not know jack about the Quran, and here I am, 56 years old, get to know a little bit about the chaos of the Quran. So I hope and I pray that this will be a great study, especially for the younger generation, not in the 50s. I'm talking about the one in the 20s. We're going to give you plenty of bullets, which you can use to destroy Islam from within. Yes, it is Holy Quran, and you can make these holes all over the pages of the Quran. Promise you, much of a holy book than you can imagine. Go ahead.
And and then something interesting that happened. So after that, for those of you who are very strategically minded, will appreciate what happened immediately after that, because the same people who said to Muslims there is only one Quran, they immediately told every Muslim, no, haven't you heard there is this ahadith about different ahrufs? And everybody was told Malik and Malik. And anyone who has watched debates between Christian apologists and Muslims, even when the Muslim doesn't speak any Arabic, when they are asked about Qira'at, they would say, oh, that's like king and owner, right? So they are the same. It's interesting how we saw that the whole myth was destroyed by Hatun Tash, and then every Muslim was told very quickly, all of a sudden, that hang on a minute, we have the topic of the ahrufs. Nobody tells them that even the Islamic scholars don't agree on what the ahrufs are, and that is even before we get to the Qira'at. So everything's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, let me show something. I just want to show it to the audience. I have a talk on this, I think, called Qira'at Qonfusion. There were 7 readers in the 8th century. Then later on, 3 more were added: Yaqub al-Hadrami, Khalaf ibn Hisham, and al-Yazidi, right? And then 4 more readers were added to make 14 recitations that are all canonical. These are, we'll see, these are different versions. So the original 7 were expanded to 10, then 14. But notice the Hafs version, that is the primary version today, is not present in any of these primary canonical versions, right?
Yeah.
And Hafs is actually not a canonical version. He's actually what's called a ruwaya, or a transmission, which is a student of the primary canonical author, right? Or so here you've got the 7 readers, then you have, right, then transmitters, right? These transmitters selected by Al-Shatibi. You've got Qalun, Warsh, Al-Bazi, Kunbul, Al-Duri, Al-Susi, Hisham, different dates. So you've got over a couple of 100 years. You now have from 640 all the way through to in the 900s. You have the Quran being edited. And so, yeah. So Hafs is not even a primary reader. Yeah.
Amazing, Lloyd. Every time in the last 25, 30 years of my life, when I read the Quran with the wrong vowels, with the wrong pronunciation for the word, my own friends will make fun of me. Usama, you need to learn how to read Arabic. When in reality, the Quran is written in all these different way of saying the word. I mean, you can say whatever you want, and you're still reading the Quran.
Yeah.
God help us.
And also, Hafs is a transmitter of the Qira'at of Al-Kufi, which is Kufi, which means Kufa, which is from Baghdad, because the Quran was standardized under the Abbasids in Baghdad, where they worked on the vocalizations, the vowelizations, and such. So this is a project not in Arabia, but from Baghdad.
What happened to the Quran of Mecca, the Quran of Quraysh? What happened to the Quran of Usman ibn Affan, the one only Quran after he burned the other 7 Qurans, as we proudly learn about that in our Muslim schools in Egypt? I mean, they don't even have a shame to say that Usman burned the original 7 Quran and we have only 1 Quran, just to make sure that everybody pronounces it in the same way. It's just different pronunciation. It's not like you think, different meaning for the words or the recitation. No. It's all the same. But let's make sure we're going to all say you all, not all of you, and you all. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Yeah. And then here we have the family tree of Qira'at. So as we can see, we have at the very top, so basically Muhammad, who totally existed, of course. And then all of these things happen where it goes to different codices, which obviously they disappear because Uthman is the one who does a barbecue with everything that he doesn't agree with. And then different versions start to appearing, different recitations, and so on and so forth. Then we have here in red, is very small, so people will not be able to see them, but this one here says Hafs, and then this one here says Warsh, which are the 2 used in the world now, like pretty much. Hafs is the one that almost everyone reads, and then we go all the way here where it says 1936 Cairo edition, which is the final edit of Hafs, except that rumor has it, after 1936, they edited the Hafs a few more times. But the family tree of Qira'at, gentlemen, what do you think about this?
I think this is already blatant evidence that the Islamic narrative is wrong. It cannot stand. If you adopt the Islamic narrative's way of seeing things, it would mean that Muhammad delivered the Quran in 7 or 10 or 14 variants, which means there were 14 communities of recitants. If you do the math, every community of recitants, in order to properly transmit the Quran, must account for at least 20 or 30 recitants.
So where's
So
the
it
evidence in
means
the?
that there should have been something like 300 recitants of the 14, at least 300 recitants of the 14 different variants of the Quran.
But
And
where's
we
the
all,
evidence in the Quran of 14 different versions being sent to Muhammad? I mean, I thought he got just one. Because I've
yeah,
asked Muslims,
we got
which
only
No,
one.
no,
version is
no.
the one that was sent
But
to Muhammad that is on the tablets in paradise?
yeah,
No, but
and bear with me. Should there be
yeah.
14 variants of the Quran, there
Mhm.
should also be 14 different sirahs, 14 different circumstances of the revelation. Because
That's also true.
yeah, and you see how the makers of the Islamic narrative, they set a sort, they entrap themselves. You
Right.
see, I think in the 8th, in the 9th, in the 10th century, they had all these variants. They didn't know how to explain them. So they invented the story of the Qira'ats. But by inventing the story of the Qira'ats, they created incoherencies, discrepancies, such as the ludicrous concept that Muhammad had to give 14 different revelations, which cannot be. And this is why I think the Islamic scholars, such as what's his name, Zakir, the guy who said there are holes in the narrative.
Yasser Qadi, Imam
They are
Yasser
trapped.
Qadi.
Yasir Qadi. They are trapped. They cannot explain this history of Quran variants within the Islamic narrative, because the Islamic narrative is it's not historical at all. It's a fabrication.
And we still don't have a full copy of the Uthmani Quran. We definitely don't have the Mohammedan Quran. Yeah, so there are too many gaps in terms of actual primary text.
Yeah, I wanna share something with you guys when you have a chance about what they taught me in Egypt years ago about the different reading of the Quran in Muhammad days. But whenever it's good time, just let me know. Add it to my I'll add it to the share it with everybody here. I mean, I think it's very important. It's very important for a reason, because when Muslim make up whatever claims they make, we have to go back to their own writing. Even though now I believe that none of it is true. Literally not true. Let me see if I can share it, get it ready, and it's up to you. Whenever you want me to jump in with it, that'll be okay. So what we need to do is well,
Yeah, for me, whenever you're ready, because we're going to talk about this.
share.
I think
Go ahead,
we're
Jason.
going
Go
to
on.
have a lot of that. Yeah, for me, it's whenever
Hands
Usama is
up
ready.
before you share screen.
I'll
That's
just go on
fine.
ahead in the meantime.
And hello
Yeah.
everyone. Your
Hello.
favorite
Adam.
Murtad is live here as well. And I am waiting for all of you to provide the evidence that you know about Qira'ats.
Why I cannot share that? Makes no sense.
I don't
Usama
worry about
thinks
this guy, because this guy's been looking for a dam. He's been seeking for a dam for how long? He still hasn't found one, and he wants us to bring evidence of an ancient Quran. I am not worried.
which guy you are talking about?
This dam seeker, a dam seeker.
A
He's looking
damn
for
seeker?
water. I think he wants to go fishing. That's what I think.
Let me just tell you something. All of you guys say whatever you want to say about recitation. Once you guys are done, let me know, because I'm going to demolish all of your arguments.
Okay. Unless I demolish them first.
You do whatever you want to do. And I'm telling you,
Well,
I will demolish all of your arguments with evidence. I'm telling you this. Alhamdulillah, I have recited the Shahada today. So I'm going to demolish all of your arguments.
wow,
So
that's
you
powerful.
provide all of your evidences. When I speak and I demolish all the arguments. Alhamdulillah.
I got my information from a medical doctor, so I am not worried.
Alhamdulillah, he's a medical doctor. I'm an engineering doctor.
Hey, Adam. Alhamdulillah. Is it lillah or Lillah.
Lillah.
Okay, you guys right. Lillah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. You know what Alhamdulillah means, guys? The praise be to Leh. I don't know who's Leh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so here is what he taught me. Here's what he taught me. I don't know if you can hear it. We'll see.
Umar bin Khattab was distressed by the fact that many of the reciters of the Quran were killed during the wars of the apostasy. Since these were men who had memorized parts of the Quran, he feared that soon some of the Quran would be lost. He then asked Abu Bakr to commission a collection of the Quran. Abu Bakr sought out Zin bin Zabit, a close follower of Muhammad, to undertake the task.
Hey, Adam, a quick search. I know you're a smart searching online. Can you give me the names of the 4 men which Muhammad ordered the Muslim believers to take the Quran from? There's 4 men
Absolutely.
mentioned by name, and Muhammad asked the Muslim believers after him, if he died or something, you take the Quran from so and so, so and so, so and so. 4 men. Zayd ibn Sabit was not one of them. So if you can come up with these 4 names, that'll be awesome. Whatever you
I can
you're
give
ready.
it to you. I can give it to you. Uthman ordered Zaid bin Tabat, Abdullah bin
Yeah.
Az-Zubair, Saad bin Al-As, and Abdul Rahman bin Haritha bin Hashim. 4 people.
Yeah, but was Zayd ibn Sabit one of the 4 men?
Yes, Zaid ibn Tabat, Abdullah bin Az-Zubair, Saad
All
bin
right.
Al-As, and Abdul Rahman bin Haritha bin Hasim. So these are the 4.
Yes.
The Lam Yajma'ul Quran illa Arba. So the Arabic is very, very confining that it is
Yeah.
not more than 4 people, and these are the 4 people. So it's not
Yeah.
thousands of people who has memorized it. It is only these 4 people.
And that's what they teach us. That's what I have learned in Egypt when I was in school. Let's continue. Couple more slides. Here we go.
Zayd said to him, by Allah, if they have ordered me to shift one of the mountains, it would not have been heavier for me than this ordering me to collect the Quran. Then I
Okay,
said
no,
to Abu
now you are talking about the first collection. This, like, I'm talking, like, you are mixing the first collection and the second collection. So
Yes,
first
good.
collection is Uthman asking Abu Bakr and Abu Bakr asking Zaid. So at that time in the first collection, it was Abu Bakr asked Zaid as in solo, and Zaid was
Yeah.
like, dude, ask me to move the mountain and I'll move the mountain without any
It
heavy
was
equipment and machinery, then doing
yeah.
that. Then when you are talking
you
about the 4 people, that is the Uthmani Quran. This is the Abu Bakri Quran.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm talking.
Guys, what happened?
Yes, Osama, you're speaking.
Oh.
I can't hear you. Something
They're
happened.
coming back.
Osama went.
All right.
Lloyd went. Everybody ran away.
We lost Lloyd.
We
Yeah,
have
we're
lost
here.
Lloyd.
We're here.
Lost
We're all-
Lloyd. All
Okay,
right.
Lloyd is back.
Sorry, we've been having a problem on the Streamlabs. It's happened a couple of times. I've had this weirdness on the Streamlabs link.
Okay.
It's happened.
That's okay.
I was just about to ask a question because I have an authentic hadith from Bukhari telling that I asked Anas bin Malik who collected the Quran at the time of the Prophet. He replied, 4, all of whom were from the Ansar, Ubay bin Ka'b, Muad bin Jabal, Zaid bin Thabit, and Abu Zaid. And how come are these 4 characters, apart from Zaid bin Thabit, different from the 4 Usama just told us about?
So
All right.
there are 3 different narrations. So this is another narration. This is the narration where supposedly when Muhammad was saying blah 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 blah, and these people were supposedly writing the blah 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 blah. Now
Okay.
the 3 of them were dead in the Battle of Yamama. That is in the Sahih al-Bukhari, I think hadith number 4986. So they died in the Battle of Yamama. Zaid bin Tabat is the only guy remaining.
Oh, still
I
alive.
think
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
where is remaining as well. I don't know, something like that. So what happened is Uthman and Umar are having an argument. Dude, we don't have the writings, and the people who are memorizing the Quran are dying. So let's collect the Quran. And Abu Bakr is like, dude, Muhammad didn't collect it in a piece of paper. What are you doing? And then Abu Bakr said to Zaid, you collect it. And Zaid said, hello, ask me to move the mountain, I'll do that. But this collecting the
And-
Quran, it's impossible.
Yeah. And Adam, the Muslim would tell you, oh, he was so afraid. What if he put one wrong word or one wrong, verse or a phrase? That's why it was so hard and so difficult for him. No, let us look at the next slide coming up here to show you the reason why it is a hard and a difficult job for him to do that. Here we go. Listen to that.
Then they proceeded to collect the Quran from pieces of papyrus, flat stones, palm leaves, shoulder blades, and ribs of animals, pieces of leather and wooden boards, as well as from the hearts of men.
Notice here, if we pick up Quran chapter 2, for example, Adam and everybody, 286 verse, you're going to collect from these sources. And guess what? I love the last one, from the heart of men. And many of them died in that war you're talking about, Adam. The Battle of Imam. I mean, literally, that's why Omar was begging Abu Bakr, please, let's collect the Quran. We're going to lose the Quran. So I don't know how in the world did he went and talk to the dead people who died in the Yamama battle and say, tell me what was before or after that verse. Good luck. Really good luck.
Osama, you need to understand very important fact over here, that they had a huge garbage pile from which they actually collected the Quran. Do you see the bones and shoulder blades and all? Like,
You know what I
they're
mean?
like
Is it true, Adam? In the Jewish faith, we know that touching the bones is unclean. How in the world you put the word of Allah on bones? Dead animals, dead whatever.
I have no idea, man.
That
But
means
they
that
they
means the
must
whole
have a
word of Allah unholy, man, unclean.
they I can only tell you that it was a huge pile of stinking garbage from which they actually collected the Quran. That's what I see.
Okay, let me to close this so I don't have to come back again. Here is what happened, and obviously from that we know that the Quran was one complete book in Muhammad days, a comedy or a joke. Listen to that. In Muhammad days, in Muhammad's life, we have more than one reading. As a matter of fact, that's where we have the original 7 readings, which our dear brother Odi was talking about in a minute. So let's go. Couple more slides, and then I'm moving my presentation out.
No, wait. Why are you moving out? Why are you moving out? Wait,
No,
this slide is.
because we don't
Go
need
back to the previous slide. Go back to the previous slide. Very important.
previous slide.
Yes, this one. So imagine now that you're collecting it from all this garbage can. How are
Mhm.
you sure that they collected everything? I need to ask this question.
Well, good luck.
Because most of the Hafizes are dead, and now you are collecting it with from these stupid things. How do you think? What makes you think that they have the whole Quran?
Well, of course, we know that as you go to many of the scholars' interpretation, they will tell you we're missing. For example, Quran chapter 9 used to be as big as Quran chapter 2. Well, Quran chapter 9 only have 97 verses, I believe. Chapter 2 have 286 verses. That means we're actually missing over 100 verses in one chapter. So, well, good luck to figure out
There you
that
go.
we have the whole Quran. You can't.
There you go. Read it.
ابو عبيده حدثنا سمعنا ابراهيم عن ايوب عن عمر قد اخذ. Okay, عمر ابن عمر said, no one of you say I took the Quran, all of it. اخذت القرآن كله. I know the Quran, all the Quran, or I have all the Quran. وما يدري ما كله, and he does know what is كله is, what is all of it actually is. قد ذهب منه قرآن كثيرا. Plenty of the Quran went bye, gone, lost. Lots of it was lost. ولكن يقول, but let the one say, قد أخذت منه ما ظهر. I only took from the Quran what it appeared from it. So I cannot say, hey, I memorized the entire Quran, 114 chapters. You did wrong. Why? Because lots of the Quran is gone, lots of the Quran is lost. But all I can say, well, I memorized what I know of the Quran. The 114 chapters. Not all of it, because many of these chapters are missing verses, and many of the chapters are gone. So good luck.
So when you are actually showing your presentation that they don't have the total number of Hafizes, they are collecting it from the hearts of the people. They are collecting it from bones and etc. etc. You do not know where the full Quran is, and even their own scholar. This is this book. This is the one of the most important book to learn about how the Quran came into
Al-Suyuti. Yep.
Al-Itqan fi Ulumul Quran. Al-Itqan fi Ulumul Quran is one of the most authorized, approved book for the collect Quran.
Yeah, as the meaning of it, the certainty of the science of the Quran. I mean, what certainty do you have there, Adam?
That most of the Quran is lost.
Oh, that is a certainty?
That is a certainty. They prove that.
Thank you.
They prove it that the most of the Quran is lost. Now, before we go into the 7 ahruf, we need to understand how the Quran is collected. And thank you so much, Usama, for bringing the conversation to the right point. We need to go to the source, how the Quran is collected before we talk about the Saba ahruf, because they actually changed the word harf. Harf means letters. How are they saying it? Recitation. Recitation is qira'ah. Muhammad never said, I am giving you Quran in Sab'a al-Qira'ah. He has said it, I have given it to you in Sab'a al-Ahruf. When you say 7 ahruf, harf means letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. These are letters. Whenever you talk about letters, it means the written words are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we are going to go into Saba Ahruf later, the word that they termed, that they coined, the Saba Kira or the 7 recitation, they coined it intentionally so that they can deceive the Western people who does not know about Arabic, because you say schedule and you say schedule, this is the same thing. No, it is not about the pronunciation here. Here it talks about the letters which are different, and hence the meaning is different.
Different words. You're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Exactly. And that is why, they actually explain in the lower one why all of the Quran is lost. Read this paragraph now.
حدثنا, it was said blah 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 عن عائشة, that is Muhammad favorite wife, قالت, she said, كانت سورة الأحزاب, the Quran chapter 63 of the Quran, Al-Ahzab, the troops, تقرأ في زمن النبي, we used to read it in the lifetime of Muhammad, Allah's prayer, Allah's peace be upon him, 200 آية, 200 verses. فلما كتب عثمان في المصاحف, when Osman wrote that chapter, which is chapter 63 in the Mus'haf, in the new Quran of his, of course, لم يقدر منها إلا ما هو عليه الآن. All what we have in it is what we have today. So I can go to Quran chapter 33 and
70 something verses.
I'm sorry?
70 something verses. So what you are telling me is
73 verses. So we're missing 127 verse, roughly. We're missing 127 verse in Quran chapter 33.
33 alone. Chapter 33 alone. So,
and there
Usama,
are plenty of other chapters in the Quran, Adam. If every chapter will lose 50 verse or 20 verse or 127 verse, we don't have a Quran. We have a small, tiny portion of the Quran.
That's why Quran is only 6,000 verses. Imagine if Muhammad lived his life for 23 years when he was receiving revelations, and he gave only 6,320 something verses. That is 0.7 verse per day. That is impossible. That is stupidity.
A verse a day. And many of the verses of the Quran, by the way, is just a letter or a word.
And then they are copy paste verses. For example, Surah Rahman. How many times Allah says the same sentence again and again? In Surah Rahman, let me show you. In Surah Rahman, Allah says, what is the verse? I forgot. 28 time Allah says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ فَبِأَيِّ Allah said, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ 28 times in a chapter which has only 78 verses. So out of 78 verses, 28 times Allah is repeating the same word. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So Osama, if you remove the repeated verses from the Quran and one single word verses Alif Lam Mim Yasin Hamim Sad Kaf etc., you come down to 0.4 verse a day. Hence this is important, that most of the Quran is lost, obviously, otherwise that's not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Very good point. And even the repeated story of the Quran, I came up with a solution. I don't know if you agree with me or not, all of you gentlemen, that the reason we have different story repeated all over the Quran is simply because Muhammad repeat himself in his 20 some years, making up that claims that he received these stories from Jibreel, from Allah. So he will tell the story about Noah to a bunch of people. 6 months later, he repeats the same story to another people. 5 years later, he repeats the same story to another people. 10 years more. The story of Noah is written 10 times in the Quran, okay? Every time is different wording because he could not remember exactly what he said the first time. So if you take all that repeated different contradictory statements of Noah or Abraham or Moses or whatever, all the stories of the Quran, you end with a small tiny booklet, not a Quran anymore. It became nothing.
Look, this is
Brother,
all good, but let's dive into what JC is presenting so we get onto some new stuff as well, rather
no,
than we
no,
just talk about.
let's
Yeah.
figure this out. One more last comment. When we talk about the Moses and burning bush, in 2 locations, Allah said, Inni ana rabbuka, indeed I am your Lord. So worship me. All right. In 1 location, the same burning bush is saying, Inni ana rabbuka rabbil alameen, the Lord of the worlds. Now,
Yeah, which one?
and you are absolutely right, because if Moses went to the burning bush only once, not twice, Allah is
And
saying
there's only
2
one
different
Moses.
sentences in 2 different
There's only
locations.
one Moses. Adam, we're not talking about 2 different Moses. There's only one guy. His name is Moses.
One
There's
guy.
only one time he met with Allah in the burning bush. So you cannot tell me 2 different sentences or other places, more than 2, for the same accent, for the same occasion.
And that is
Yeah.
why Ubay ibn Ka'ab said that the doubt crept into his mind. Now, this is the collection, before the collection. So last hadith, and then we will go to his presentation. Can you show me a screen, brother? Right, okay. So what is happening is that Umar ibn Khattab is saying, I heard Hisham bin Hakim saying a surah Furqan in a way different than of Allah Messenger taught me. So I crawled with him. He started fighting with him. Then he took his garment, put it on the neck, and dragged him to Muhammad. And then he said, Muhammad, he is reading it differently. And Muhammad said, okay, you read. Okay, this is how it is revealed. Okay, you read. Okay, this is how it is revealed. And then Quran is revealed to me in 7 different ways. This is the Saba Ahruf problem here. Saba
Yeah.
Ahruf. 7 different words. Not 7
Of the
different
Quran.
ways. 7 different words. There is another hadith with a similar account, but now this thing happened with Ubay ibn Ka'b, not Umar al-Khattab. Ubay ibn Ka'b, okay, the guy to whom Muhammad said that if you want to understand the Quran, read the Quran, get it from Ubay. He
Ubay.
saw a guy reading the same kind of a thing, another kind of a recitation, and he took him to Muhammad as well. Muhammad said, Muhammad approved the affairs. That is the how he's repeating. And there occurred in my mind a sort of denial which did not occur to me during the days of ignorance. Ubay is saying that doubt crept into my mind, that I never had this kind of a doubt even when I was a pagan worshipper. That how is it possible that he said the Quran and it is also Quran? I said some words which are different than his words, yet I said the right words as well. How is
So
that
when
possible?
did Muhammad get multiple different revelations of the same verses in different ways?
All right.
He
Here we
he
go.
wasn't. Just
Yeah.
let me finish it. So how did Muhammad fix the problem of Ubay? This is very important. How did Muhammad fix the problem of Ubay, the doubt? He punched him in his chest. So the way to fix the problem of a person of a doubt, that how is this possible, is a punch in the chest. Quran is still a Quran because of the sword. Remove the sword. If you have removed the sword in those days, there would have been no Quran. That's it.
Sure.
Sorry, guys.
Or even get rid of the gentleman who brought in some doubt in the mind of the people about the perfect word of Allah. And by the way, these are the 2 slides I was about to read, Adam, and I know you're familiar with them. So if you don't mind, brother Lloyd, let me play them quickly to give it in a simple English word, my own English word for what we have here. Here we go.
A man recited a passage of the Quran in the presence of Umar, who corrected him. The man, upset, claimed to have recited for him the Prophet, and he had not corrected him. They carried their dispute to Muhammad. The Prophet endorsed the man's claim. Muhammad then explained, all the modes of reciting are correct so long as you don't turn a statement on mercy into one on wrath, and vice versa. Muhammad disclosed that two angels had come to him. One said, recite the Quran in one form. The other advised Muhammad to ask for more than this. This was repeated several times until finally the first angel said, very well, recite it in 7 forms. The Prophet said, each of the forms is grace-giving, protecting, so long as you don't terminate a punishment verse with an expression of mercy or vice versa.
That is my story, and I rest my case.
Wow.
Well, gentlemen, allow me to take a moment to just say that just about now I feel quite sorry for Lloyd, because I know that he really enjoys the series of the Revelation of Error with Usama, and there are already like about 40 different shows, and that's only with the Quran that we have, which is 6,000 verses. There should have been about 15,000 verses, and Lloyd could continue with the Revelation of Error for another 3 or 4 decades.
Listen,
So I'm sorry
Brother,
for you.
So he's reducing my lifespan by about 2 hours.
Brother Odin, if we have
I need to
15,
stop, Osama.
if we have 15,000, I know what Lloyd will do. He will hunt me. He will actually assassinate me to end the story. I know it, but thank God we only have 6,000 verses. All right, we're good. We're good.
You're very lucky,
is the-
man, Osama.
That's actually the mercy of Allah, making sure that we would only get 6,000 of the full revelation. So, but well, this is actually what we are told, and just my 2 pence on this family tree of Qira'at is that this is weapon grade nonsense. Like none of this pretty much happened, because the moment that you have the very first recitation, say from Uthman, if people were memorizing it, you would have that recitation going down. Then they give excuses. When you have different ones, they will say, well, there is the same rasam, but they remember
there's
the
not same
previous
rasam.
one.
Who said same rasam? Who is
Like,
the idiot who said same rasam? I can prove any day with while I'm sleeping as well that the rasam is not same.
yeah, I have looked at the Qira'ats as well, but just follow me here for a second, which is if he has one manuscript, it would have one rasam only, and then the next people would basically read it in one way. But once we start delving into these things, is absolutely not. The rasam is reasonably stable. There are really quite a few differences with the consonants, yes, but there shouldn't be any. That's the thing. It shouldn't be any. Imagine there were 7 guys who had the same rasam and recited in 7 different ways. That is all that we would have all the way to this day. Those same rasam, 7 recitations, but that's not what we get. The more we go down, we see that they are actually changing things. Certainly with the rasam, the dots are all over the place, but it just changes. So this thing could never have happened. And the main reason, I think, is that you cannot canonize the book at all until you have all of the diacritical marks and they are standard, until you have the hamzas added to the script and you have the vowels. If you don't have that, so let's say 10th century, what you have is mostly okay-ish, similar-ish versions, but everybody is reading it differently. There is no oral tradition to memorize a book. As much as we're told people memorized it, it's like, guys, people would write a book down.
Muslim would say you're wrong because people memorize the Quran perfectly. You don't have it to have the written form. We memorize it perfectly. MashaAllah. Go ahead.
Yeah, very true. There was this debate the other day between Junior and the Apostle Prophet, and Junior said to the Apostle Prophet, the Quran, we know that it is preserved because we memorized it. We've always memorized it. But you Christians, and I was thinking, the Christians knew that you shouldn't try to memorize a book. You would just write it down. It's kind of like the easy thing to do. So it's just nonsense.
All right, so let me
God.
just show you something. The problem with the dots. I'm gonna first show you the problem with the dots. Why was dots important for the very first time to write it down? It was very important because of this reason. Brother Usama, will you kindly
Yes,
read?
I will read, brother. For you, I will read without any request. ربنا آتهم ضعفين من العذاب ولعنهم لعنا كبيرا.
So
What's the problem?
Allah sends. No, I'm translate it for the people.
Our Lord sent on them twice of the torment and curse them a big curse.
Like a huge atomic bomb level curse, right? Kabira, the biggest curse ever. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Hafsan Asim. Let's go to Kalun and Nafi. There you go.
ربنا آتهم ضعفين من العذاب ولعنهم لعنا كثيرا. Oh, so obviously here is not كبيرا. Curse them a lot.
Many.
Not
So Allah is now using a machine gun curse. Lana, 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 lana. So
yeah.
so in upper verse, Allah is sending an atomic bomb launchers. Lana duz. Here Allah is doing lana, 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 lana. So now problem is the darts matter.
Sure.
It matters.
And that's by the way what Brother Odin have hundreds of pages of that problem all over the Quran. Hundreds of pages.
And this is, and then let me just go to another one. All right, now you will enjoy this. I'm sure you will enjoy this because you will not know the translation of one word. There you go.
وكأين من نبي قاتل معه ربيون كثيرون فما وهنوا لما صابهم في سبيل الله وما ضعفوا وما استكانوا والله يحب الصابرين.
Okay,
that is
just
called,
translate till kasirun.
I'm sorry?
I said translate the sentence till rabiyuna kasirun.
Many scholars or many teachers here, we can say it.
No, translate the whole thing. Waka'in min nabiyin qatala ma'u
And
rabiyuna
was it like
kasirun.
a prophet قاتل, engage in war with him, many teachers, many lords.
That's the problem. Rabiyun is not an Arabic word, and now you have a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. Waka'in min
وكأين
nabiyun. Nabiyin, huh?
قتل. Oh.
Okay.
And as if a Nabi is one prophet was killed with him.
Okay.
Many Rabbayun.
Now.
وكأين من نبي قتل معه ربيون
And rabiyuna
كثير.
kasirun. Then thank you. And let me show you something else. Now.
وكأين من نبي قتل معه ربيون كثيرا فما وهنوا لما أصابهم.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's all different. It's all every one of them is going to be a different English. Every one of them.
Now you have
It's
plural
unable.
nabis. Now you have plural nabis. Now you have singular nabi, plural nabis. So
Yeah.
the problem is many of the prophets were killed. Many of the prophets were fought. Many of the prophets did what? And who were their supporters? No one knows because this is such a mess. You are writing the darts 200 years after the death of Muhammad. Who knows the true word?
And that, by the way, Adam, proves that there is no such a thing as they memorize the Quran. If they memorize the Quran, why we have all these different reading for the same verse? You cannot memorize the Quran in different readings.
Because let me solidify my point with one last thing, and then it will change it. And now you have seen that the meaning of the words is different. Okay, meanings of the words is different, but what they are still preaching is, brother, may I have my screen, Lloyd? I'm so sorry. But what they are teaching is, check this out. They are still lying that the meaning is the same. Check this out. The best scholarly opinion after he said the hadith of the 7 Ahruf concerning what is meant is that there are 7 ways of recitation the Quran where the wording may be different but the meaning is the same. Brother, tell me, is many of the prophet fought or many of the prophet killed? Is it the same meaning?
No,
absolutely not, because you can engage in war and come out victorious without a drop of blood, or all of you are dead. I do not know how can you be
Okay.
dead or victorious in the same.
Is many and one big are the same meaning? I just gave
Of
you two
course not.
examples.
Nope. Nope.
Why are they still lying to their
Because
own
I
Muslim
cannot
ummah?
tell my people, Adam, I cannot tell my people we have a problem with the Quran. Then my people leave Islam. Well, what do you expect me to do? People do not know Arabic, do not know Jack about what you're talking about, your own famous word, Jack. So therefore, when I say to them, oh, they're different words, but it all have the same meaning. Oh, mashallah. Starving or very hungry is the same. Yeah, the word starving is different than the word very hungry, but what do these two words actually mean? They mean the same thing. In their mind, they're lying.
Oh, brother,
Save them.
that example that you gave is still okay in a way. That starving and is very hungry is almost like I can still like digest this example. But how
Yeah.
can I digest the example of killed versus fought? How can I digest the example of many versus one? Like these are opposite. Like these are opposite things.
No, that's exactly right. And there's no answer for it except I have to deceive my naive, gullible Muslim and make them believe there's no much difference. It's the same. It's the same, man.
I rest my case. Sorry, brother Lloyd.
Cool. I just want to bring something up. I don't want us to get too sidetracked as well and have it dominated by just discussing the, Arabic, because obviously JC wants to present as well. But this is a Quran translation from 1891. This is by George Sale, and he's very friendly towards Islam, let's just say. And this is the Quran, commonly called the Al-Quran of Muhammad, right? This is on page 45. It gives this little opening discussion here. And he says, I have never yet seen any manuscripts where the verses are actually numbered. So in 1891, he had not yet found any numbered verses in the Qurans, right? And he says the chief disagreement between the several editions of the Quran is in the division and the number of the verses, right? So there are different editions of the Quran. There are 7 principal editions. Of these editions, the first of Medina makes the whole number of verses 6,000 exactly. The second and the fifth are 6,214. The third, 6,219. The fourth, 6,236. Then 6,226 and 6,225. So they're all supposed to contain the same number of words, which I doubt that very much. But yeah, this is from 1891. There's more to discuss, I guess, but I mean that's enough, to show that already then. So who numbered the verses? When was that done? Because it's not something that was something known
By the
prior
way,
to.
Brother Moon, the number of the verses has also been added to the Bible. In the Bible, there was no chapters. In the Bible, there was no verses. And to make it easy for the readers to understand the Bible, that's where he brings the chapters. The book of Isaiah is the 66th
Granted, but we
chapter.
knew which book was which. We know in the Quran they've apparently shifted verses into other.
But yes, Usama, the other problem here is you need to understand it from a Muslim point of view. I am a Muslim. I was told that each and every single verse was sent by Muhammad, sent by Jibrail to Muhammad, taught to Muhammad, and it is in the same place where it's supposed to be. Now,
Well,
when
good
you
luck
don't
with
even
that.
have the verse numbers, etc., how can you tell that? Because the verses are different in Hafs versus Varsh. You know that as well. Chapter number 2
Sure.
has 2 additional verses in the Varsh Quran. Why additional? Because it's splitted, I think, verse number 158 into 2, and there is another verse which was split into 2. So this is very important as well, which Lloyd is bringing up. And I didn't have this information that this splitting happened like recently. I'm amazed. Thank you, brother Lloyd. This is information for me.
Great.
As well.
Welcome.
Me too, as well. First time I hear that. I saw it like maybe I don't know hundreds of years ago. That's when they added the numbers, but not just couple, few hundred years ago. That's unbelievable.
A century ago. I mean, that's not very long ago.
Yeah, I thought all of these things had been pretty canonized, like really, really standard, maybe like 500 years ago, and that was it, and then nothing changed. But when we see that there are lots of things happening in recent times, is like, what is going on? I mean, they have still sold the story of perfect preservation, these sort of things, but they have been making changes until yesterday afternoon. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the
Yesterday
Quran was only
afternoon.
standardized in 1924.
Hey, you can't
Oh,
say that yesterday afternoon. I will have a fight with you. Yesterday afternoon, they didn't change anything.
Yeah, they're still changing, I'm sure.
yeah. Yeah, I'm it's amazed because in all my life I grew up in Egypt thinking that the Quran we use in Egypt has been there from the days of Muhammad, when in reality it was just printed 100 years ago in my home country, Egypt.
Mm.
But people do not know. People, these things like Christian, we have a Bible in our homes. We got 5 Bibles in our homes. Most Muslims in the Arab world do not have the Quran like we do have the Bibles. And if you go to the rest of the foreign world, like Adam, people in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Indonesia, literally 87% of the Muslim people do not read the Quran, period. They cannot read it. What are you going to do? You have it as a blessing, but if I give you any book, I'll tell you that is the holy, perfect word of Allah in the Arabic language. It could be any other book, and you take it, believe it in your head, it's the Arabic Quran, but it's not. For heaven's sake, I got some lawyers in America converted to Islam just recently, and he got me a small booklet. I'm not kidding you. Here's my Quran. It was this amount from the side of the Quran, just a small portion here. And he thinks that is the Quran. A lawyer converted to Islam, or the chapter, 6th chapter, in a small booklet, he said, the Imam who led me to Islam, and he named his name, Nasr, he said, that's all I need. That is the Quran I need. When in reality, look how big the Quran is. And the way, it was a book about the Quran, not the Quran.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Right. And then in terms of the canonization and what was happening here, I wonder, Odon, I know that you have delved into even irregular Qira'ats and things that people don't often actually look into. So do you have any thoughts as to the validity of this narrative that we've been told of how the transmission happened and so on?
No. This narrative and this family tree is complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. All we have said up until now shows only one thing. The Islamic narrative is rubbish. It does not stand. It tells us something else also. The Quran is not that important within Islam. You see, it has only been sort of fixed 100 years ago. So Islam seems to rely on the Quran, but deeply it's something else. It relies on Sharia law. It relies on.
Can you read to me, Brother Odon, the first line at the top? Start with others and end with others. What kind of tree when you have 2 others, you know who's these others?
Yeah,
help me out here.
It's an attempt from the Islamic narrative to explain the many variants of Quran, which they could not explain within the frame of the Islamic narrative. And so they had to invent stories, such as the one we read, such as Umar having a different version, and Muhammad telling him that even if it's a different version, it's the same Quran. It doesn't make sense. But within the Islamic narrative, it was the only thing they could come up with.
Okay, JC, here's my question to you. How many of these branches of the tree exist today where we can put our hands on it?
I don't know. And there are many other branches that are not there. For example, we have actual manuscripts with textual variants that are not taken into account within the Islamic narrative. We have actual ancient manuscripts, such as the one I told about in my book, the Wettstein 2, 1913, where it is not written Uzair is the son of Allah in Surah 9, verse 30, but Aziz is the son of Allah. And this variant, it's not taken into account in the Islamic narrative, for example, but it's there. It exists. It physically exists.
Actually, let me show this. This is variations in Hafs versus Warsh today, right? I mean, if you look at this here, this is Hafs versus Warsh, the 2 most popular readings today. Quran 2, 125, so you have Watakizu, you shall take. But the Warsh says Watakazu, they have taken. So you shall take, which is in the future, versus they took in the past. These are 2 different groups.
No, it's the same meaning. It's the same meaning, Lloyd.
Yeah,
it's the same meaning. You understand? It's the same meaning.
Yeah.
You understand the closing of the Muslim mind when you are forced to understand that 2 different sentences, 2 very different sentences, have the same meaning. You cannot be logical. You cannot reason.
Yeah. Well, look at 2, 140 in Hafs. Takuluna, you say, versus watch, ya kuluna, they say. These are two different things, two 184. Poor person versus poor people in Hafs and Watch. Just three simple examples that I have here. These are not the same. This is not identically preserved. These are that poor person, these poor people. Is it 1,000 people? 10,000 people? Yeah. Sorry?
Miskin and Masakin. I mean, I just got a video from a lady. I don't know who made it, but it was so funny. She's mocking Islam as she talking to the site, and she said she made an oath and she broke the oath and she want to fix the problem. And she asked the imam, should she feed one poor person or should she feed a bunch of poor people? And she said, food is too expensive. I mean, she cannot afford it. She doesn't know what to do. And she said, which one should I do? Which one of the writing? He said, the imam told her, the one you have in your hand. It doesn't matter. You can feed one person or you can feed a bunch of poor people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Even the answer of the imam. What you have in your hand? It's like, hello?
Yeah, I'll do three more examples.
Yeah.
Hafs what? Katala fought, right? In the wash, that same verse is was killed.
I just
fought
showed
with
that.
Adam. Adam was killed. Those are two very different things. Now, everyone knows if I fight with Adam, Adam will be killed. But, but if we fight...
By the way, Brother Lloyd, have you looked at the presentation, Brother JC you'll have all these in, I mean, hundreds of pages. I cannot wait to get it. I know Jason Rabbit will not get into the presentation, but man, it will be powerful if we take it just in the right order.
Okay, we'll go there. So, I mean, so you've got examples of slaves or with, and then or and. I mean, seriously, so what do you choose here? Really, this is extremely confused. I mean, so these people really need to think about this.
It's a big mess. I really feel sorry for the Muslims who defend
I love
Islam.
this slide. Brother, I love this slide.
Recapture, send it to her, okay?
She's the one who first brought these Quranic Musaf to the speaker's corner.
You have a mean spirit. I have a kind spirit. A soft, loving spirit. You mock them, I cry for them. Go for it, man.
How did you get this slide? I need this slide, Lloyd, after the presentation. I love it. I need this slide.
I'll send it to you. Don't worry. So just to address what Odon said. So yes, like they are telling Muslims how they need to feel about the Quran. So they will see something that contradicts, but they need to feel that it means the same, even though it doesn't. And this is very clearly seen in the translation from Bridges, in the Bridges translation, Lloyd, where if you start reading it, the first like 10 pages or so is the guy saying the Quran is phenomenal, it's great, it's so amazing. Oh my goodness me! The more you read it, the more information you get. It's phenomenal. So he keeps drilling you as to how amazing it is, and then he tells you things that are clearly wrong, but he tells you this is because of the wisdom of Allah, that in this one it could be this or it could be that, and it enhances the meaning. And because they feed you all of that beforehand, when you see the material, you don't reason that it is wrong.
The wisdom of Allah. Allah is that stupid? That is the wisdom of Allah?
Get stuck for Allah. Get stuck for Allah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's just have a look. So this is a website I showed just a little while ago to Usama, and actually he liked it. It's very good. So it's from the one and only Shadi Nasser. So here it is, ER Quran. If anyone wants to actually delve into it, it's great. So all of the words that appeared like this, grayed out, it means there is a different reading. And when you click on a word, you have filters as well there. You can see everything that he has found so far, and it is incredible. There is like so much stuff in there. And as a bird's eye view of what the Qira'at would actually look like, if you go on that website, this is not from the website, it's just something at random. So it's Surah 48. So it would look a little something like this. So all of these yellow marks would be the words that there are different readings for them. And then when you click on each of them, some of them is just vowels, maybe it has the same meaning of the words, but some of them are going to be very different. Some of them are going to have even more words. So the whole thing is like a mess. The majority are vowels, but as you click on them, you see more and more. But you would see something like this. This, to me, doesn't look perfectly preserved. This is just a normal page.
Because you are an Islamophobe. It's perfectly preserved.
Of course it is.
Must be.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
If you are a
Every
true
version
Muslim,
has the same
you will
meaning.
know that it is perfectly preserved.
Yes,
Perfectly
7
preserved.
ahrufs. So in here we have the 7 ahrufs of Surah 48 of the perfectly preserved Quran. So let's go on a very fun topic. So this is just the topic that I said. I think Jay Smith is going to talk about it soon. So we're going to try and see if we get there first, and then we'll compare the notes with him when he makes that public. So we have the imperative say, which appears a lot in the Quran, and also he said in the Quran. Basically, in Arabic, it's written like this. For anyone who don't speak Arabic, the one thing to remember as we go forward is if you see these two ladies just shouting at the cat, so the two ladies, it has two letters, so you see 1 and 2. And then when it comes to the cat, which he's saying he said, so he, the cat, it has the third one, okay? So 2 means the lady saying say, and 3 is the cat saying he said. And of course it changes. So this is what happens. By the way, this is only from the 7 readings. So we didn't even go into the unusual readings or anything else. I mean, we could actually talk for ages, but just keeping it simple and just going
Can we
through the
just
7
pause a
readings.
second, JC? I just want to show something,
Sure.
just for the audience, just so they can see here. This is an example of the changes from the diacritics. On the right-hand side in the orange, this is before the dots in the diacritics. This is what was the original, right? But if you take these on the left-hand side, this is after the dotting. So you can see you've got multiple potential different words and meanings taking this. So before this, it's anyone's guess which of these was the correct word. So you can see on the left, there's a lot of variations.
It will be impossible without the dot. I could not read the original. I got a few pieces of early Quran without the dot. I try my best. I could not read it. I'm sorry.
Right.
You cannot read Arabic without dots, and you cannot read Arabic without vowels. I mean, the same word. I'll put different vowels, and it will give you complete
Like Kala and
different.
Katala and Katila and Kutila. Same
Yeah,
vowels will
yeah.
actually change it from
Same
kill to
word.
call.
Yeah, but how you pronounce it, one of them is fight, another one is killed.
Yeah, and they're different things. I mean, you could be killed in a fight, but the thing is, it doesn't presuppose it. It's, also what kind of fight was it? Fight with swords, or just a kiddies fight with pillows? I mean, you just don't know.
Lloyd, on this specific verb, katal is fight to the death. There is a notion of death in the verb, so it's not that different.
You know why they actually made fight and kill? Because I think fight is harb. There is a word for that, harb. The problem was that Quran has used qatal so many times that Quran would be like killing everybody. So that is why they actually put diacritical marks to make it different after 400 years, because they're like, oh my, this Quran is so many killings. So they intentionally said that if there is a elongated alif in the middle, then it is fighting. If there is a shadda, then it is killing, so that they could deceive the people. This was intentional. Otherwise, qatl was always qatl, because there is a harb as well there. So fight to the death, like this is like a stupid thing that they invented to make sure they could deceive them. That's how I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think in a
Wow.
couple of slides, there is going to be something that I think shows very clearly as well how they were trying to edit the text even after they had added the diacritics and so on. So just, so this is again, the website from ER Quran from Shadi Nasser, and this is the extract of what you will see if you go and click on in there. So if we look at Surah 17, verse 93, so we see here the word, and remember, so 2 letters, so that would be the imperative, say, and that's fine. But when we look, the 7 readings are the very first ones that were meant to appear. And in the end, they ended up going with the halves, which is derived from one of them. But another of these early readings, it was not saying the one with the 2 letters, it was the one with 3, meaning he said. So the early guys, they didn't know if this was supposed to be read as say, and all of a sudden is Muhammad having to say something to the public, although it's very silly to think that Jibril would tell him, say this thing, and then he goes and says the word say. It's insane. But from one early reading, this would have read, he said, exalted is my Lord. So now, all of a sudden, we don't have Muhammad being instructed to tell the people these words. All of a sudden, the Quran is talking about someone in the past tense at the time of writing who said these things. And we can see, yes, from a tafsir, that they actually confirm it is meant to be in the halves as the imperative. Say, exalted is my Lord. Muhammad, say, exalted is my Lord. But another reading was, he said, in the past tense. It could never be Muhammad, making it clear that the difference between one word and the other, the difference is Muhammad didn't exist. The people canonizing the Quran hundreds of years later, they didn't know even the person who was supposed to be giving the revelation.
All right.
Any thoughts?
And I'd like to add a little bit. I know what you said is very important, but I'm looking at even just a simple translation of the word. The word zughraf or zughrif. He translated here to be gold. The next one you have it gold or silver and gold. When in reality, there's no fidda nor zahab in the verse, period. The word actually is embellished house, decorative house. Why is it put gold? Why is it put silver? I have no idea. So not only there's a problem with the wording of the Quran, but we have another problem with the translation of the Quran. Why is this people making the Quran sound like something else? I don't know.
Right. So then, at least with this word, are we? Do you agree? Do you disagree that the people who actually had to canonize this, says that hundreds of years later, they weren't sure if this story was meant to be speaking in the past tense or if it was already been told that the story of Muhammad talking to a crowd?
There is a huge difference. Yeah, I agree with you that there are different wording here, different understanding, and different Quran.
Different people.
Adam, there's a question that just came up.
Yes, brother. What's the question?
I'm just, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a serious question or not, but which voice does Allah recite the Quran to Muhammad? Male, woman, transgender, all three? Does anyone have an answer?
Allah did not recite the Quran to Muhammad. Remember that? It was Jibril who was bringing and reciting the Quran to Muhammad. There's the time when Muhammad went to Asra wal Mi'raj where he received the speaking with Allah. So that's one thing, and that is from where he brought the prayer. And certain times Allah gives him visions. For example, in Quran Surah Baqarah, Allah told him that there are few men coming to attack at Badr. But when people went there, oh, there were so many, and Allah said, "Oh, I didn't wanted you to lose heart. That's why I told you there are very few." So
is it?
He speaks in vision. He speaks through Jibril. So I have not seen Muhammad having a direct talk with Allah unless it was a vision or he was in Asra wal Miraj. So don't know.
Is it I'raj or Mi'raj?
Mi'raj.
That is a
Isra
ladder.
wal Mi'raj.
It's supposed to be an Isra wal I'raj, not wal Mi'raj. What ladder have to do with anything?
It's meme ayn.
It is
I don't know.
ascending to heaven, not the ladder. Just a comment, a side comment here. The word I'raj is to be ascended to. Mi'raj is a ladder. So obviously Muslim or Allah's apostle said it in the wrong word, and we've been using it like that for the last 1400 years. Supposed to have the total al-Isra wal-I'raj, not al-Isra wal-Mi'raj.
Brother, you are so Islamophobic. It's Mi'raj.
Yeah, and the ladder? That's the word
We have been,
Mi'raj means.
like, dude, don't ask. Ladder, so it is ladder.
Don't ask,
Anyway,
don't tell.
It's the same meaning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What do you do with ladder? You go up and then you come
Yeah,
down.
yeah. I think he got this from Jacob in the Bible. But let's move on. Move on. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, well,
Roger.
actually,
Yeah.
about how Allah is presented in the Quran. Funnily enough, I recorded a session which is going to be published, I think is not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after, with our brother John from Australia. And it was a phenomenal session. One of the things that he went through are quite a few of the instances where Allah is speaking in the first person, and then the first person singular, and then first person plural, and then back and forth, back and forth. And it was a great show, yes, to see that on a screen, that sometimes is the same sentence, Allah speaking as I, and then as we, and then again, and it changes, and it was great. So make sure that you actually watch that one when it drops, which is going to be in 2 weeks' time. It was really good, and lots of other things that he added on that particular session. It was great. But all right, so with this, another one. So we have here as well, like with the halves, we see that it is the one he said, so the past tense, what is supposed to. And
Mhm.
the prophet said, well, it doesn't say prophet, it says he said, so this could be anyone, but we see that one of the other readings, it would be just say. Oh, by the way, these are not in order, I just copy and pasted the same thing, so sometimes the first word will be say, in others will be he said, so people will figure that out. But anyway, so who is speaking here? Is it the he said, or is it someone supposed to say? These people are confused, they don't know who is meant to actually be speaking. And from the tafsir, we see how they say, well, he says, Muhammad says to them. It's like, hang on a minute. What is going on here? This is, well, weird. Because why is the Quran quoting Muhammad? So think about this. If the Prophet said something, that means that a few months or years earlier, before this revelation, the Prophet was talking with some people and he said, my Lord knows whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then the next verse, people continue talking. They said, blah, blah, blah. So they are having a conversation. And then a couple of years later, a revelation comes from Allah. And he just quotes what happened in a conversation years ago. It's insanity. This is talking about someone in the past tense, and surely it is
Do you
not
know?
Muhammad.
Yeah, brother JC. When I was working in my translation of the Quran, I'm sitting next to a guy who have doctorate degree in education. I mean, smart man. He's in heaven now. He passed away. And he looked at my sentence. He said, Usama, A, you do not know Arabic at all, or B, Muhammad does not know Arabic at all. And I said, why? He said, the structure of the sentence is dumb. I said, no, Muhammad does not know. I'm telling you word for word. The statement or the verse start past tense, present tense, future tense, past tense in the same sentence. In first person, second person, third person, in the same verse. He said, that is the most ridiculous, dumb book I've ever read in my life. I said, welcome to Islam.
So what do you guys think about this? How could it be that Muhammad has a conversation with a bunch of people, and then years later, the revelation comes from the heavens saying those things that had happened? Like, do you guys see how insane that is? Or is it just me?
Nonsense. Nonsense.
That's just
No, this
completely
is what
insane.
Allah
Yeah.
said. Come on.
Huh. This is completely insane. But if you take a step back from the Islamic narrative, you could join a French scholar, Jean-Jacques Walter, who put forth the idea that most of the cool say were added at a later time when the text was canonized, when it was decreed that it came from God. Some of its parts obviously could not come from God because it was the prophet speaking, it was not God speaking. So the cool say were added, and they were added in a very wrong manner because many of them don't make sense at all. But it's an interesting theory. The thing is, you have to check it with the early manuscripts, because in the early manuscripts, some cool are missing, but some are already there. So the process of the process of the Quran's canonization might have taken some time, but it could have started in the 8th century. So way before Caliph al-Mutawakkil declared it divine in the 10th century. No, 9th, at the end of the 9th century, around 847, I think.
Oh, that's
but,
very cool. Sorry.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, but yeah, it's a different take on the Quran. It's trying to make sense, trying to understand how it was historically fabricated. So it's not the Islamic narrative's perspective. It's it's science, real science perspective, historical science.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'd like to add a little bit to what we just have said. When you read the Quran, you see that Muslims say it's the word of Allah. But I read in the Quran the words of Pharaoh, the words of Moses, the word of the devil, Satan. And you think
The
about
words of
all that,
genies.
genies, yeah, anybody, yeah. So all that was written 50,000 years before it ever happened. You mean Allah is manipulating people and jinn and angels and human and everybody and Satan to say exactly what Allah wants them to say? This is a strange concept. I'm trying to figure out how the world Muslim can believe that this is a perfect word of Allah written 50,000 years and every word in it is written like that. And then we have different reading for the same word. So was it supposed to be Muhammad says it? Or say Allah is asking Muhammad to say it?
Allah knows best. So that's really great. Now, just a quick recap because the next slide is going to be a little bit different and it has more implications. So we have seen that we had in the 7 readings, so the very first time, according to the narrative, that these things are starting to be canonized, which didn't happen, but never mind, that some of them, they will say this in imperative or in the past tense, and some of them in the imperative. Fine, great. And then we got the halves, which obviously has one version, but if they had gone down a different path of that family tree, the halves would say the other. It would be the other reading. But now look what happens in the very next slide, if I can click on it. So this one, look at this. So we have seen that if it has 2 consonants, that's how it would have been in the manuscript, that would always be the 2 women shouting, remember? So it will be the imperative. But look what they have done here. Much later on, they actually added the dagger aleph, which they don't appear until probably 10th, 11th century, I don't know, but later. So this version from the halves should have said simply cool, but they added the dagger aleph to make it the other one. How naughty is that? They were not happy with their canonized version. And it is established in these same halves that they do have the skill of telling those words apart by having the aleph in the middle, by having the 3 letters. And then we come across this one, which has 2 letters, but apparently you can change the word of Allah by adding dagger alephs. By the way, we've seen this one before when you were actually showing other examples. Adam, one or several of the examples that you showed, when they were saying about the prophets in the singular and the plural, one of the problems being that dagger alephs very inserted late. And in a previous episode, we discussed the whole problem with kalimatuhu, how they disguise Jesus when he's called the word of God by making it plural. So here we have yet another example of people editing the sacred word eternal of Allah by adding a dagger aleph.
What is this
Mashallah.
dagger aleph? I know about aleph, but what is this dagger aleph?
The small aleph above the kaf here in the top there is it make me read it qala like the one in the bottom in the square.
Okay,
But why Allah will write the word qala in 2 different ways in the Quran? Qala qaf lam, above the qaf there's an alif, or qala qaf alif lam. That makes no sense. I mean, Allah does not know how to instruct Muhammad or Surah Jibreel to make sure it is qala or laysa qul, or somebody fix it later and add the fath, the alif above the qaf. It's have to be qul or qala. We have qala, qaf, alif, lam.
You see how the dagger alif could be an invention that was made
Absolutely an invention.
transform
Absolutely an invention.
into a kala. Because outside of the Quran, I don't think the dagger alif is commonly used. It's almost only in the Quran that we find the dagger alif.
And yeah, and what's
It's very
amazing is
convenient.
if I'm reading the Quran right now, there's a Muslim come in the room and I say, قل ربي أحكم بالحق وربنا الرحمن المستعان على ما تصفون. Oh, Usama does not know how to read Arabic. He's not qualified to talk about the Quran. He's not a scholar. You stupid. You nutcase. If I want to say qala, I will put it like it's written in the bottom. Qaf, alif, lam, qala. I see it qul. Oh, you have to wear glasses to read it right. Why the stupid writer of the Quran did not write it right to start with?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when it is established
Osama,
that
you're
they
so
knew.
Islamophobe, brother.
Yeah, I know. Very Islamophobe. Big Islamophobe.
Because the thing is, an argument could be made if there is a specific word that only appears in one way in the Quran, and then the dagger alif is, say, essential. You could say, okay, they knew how to read it; they didn't need that, so the alif was not necessary. But when you come to something like this, it's the opposite.
Sure. Yeah, it's so amazing when Hatun was talking with me about the subject a couple years ago or 3 years ago, whatever, and she said, "Can't you see the difference between this?" I said, "No, I don't see it." She said, "Look good." I'm looking. I said, "Qala, qala." Look good. I'm like, "Hello." I'm not. Let me put my glass. Oh, what is that? The small dash above the qaf. Oh, qala, not qul. She said, "Hello," and you speak Arabic. It's like, what a stupid idea to write the Quran. Especially when I know qala is qaf, alif, lam. You put a qaf, lam, we put a little bit dash above it, like a small a. What a nutcase.
You see, also it could be
that in Quran.
Excuse me, Adam. I think it could be a two stages invention. At first, a kul was added, and at a later stage, when the fabricators of the Islamic narrative found out that this kul did not make sense enough to fit with the narrative, they added the dagger alif to make a kala and to have a past tense in this way. It could make this is I think an interesting hypothesis for the invention of the dagger alif.
Brother Odon, I prefer, if I'm reading the sentence in Arabic, to say qul. Say, my Lord is wise with the truth. My Lord is the merciful. Our Lord is merciful. That makes sense. Not qala, past tense.
No, it depends on the context. It depends on the invention of the Sirah also. You see, there are many parameters, many ins and outs. It's not only the Quranic text that matters, but the coherence of Islam. So the Hadith and the Sirah and so on. No, it was an impossible task to invent the Islamic narrative. This is why it's so flawed.
They created plot holes, and actually we can see these sort of inventions. Odon, I think you might actually be right about that. There were many stages. There must have been, even in the English. So this is modern days. We see how the translators, Daif International particularly, will always make it clear by putting Muhammad or the Prophet, and it's like, okay, so this is because the text is not clear. So in the past, at one point, they had to make the text very clear about Muhammad. They failed epically, but they have to keep adding things. And yeah, the dagger alif, to me, it looks like a late invention in order to fix the Quran a little bit more. So I think the takeaway for everybody at home, remember, you must never, ever, ever change the words of Allah, but you can add dagger alifs and change the words of Allah. So, and more. Another one right here, same thing. We have there the dagger alif changing something that they have the skills to write the word with the aleph to begin with, but either A, like Odon said, maybe it was invented late altogether, or they just didn't like how it sounded. And I found it odd because I thought it was supposed to be past tense, but all of a sudden it's future tense. This is so wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, in that case here for the caveman, but that was chapter 18. That's chapter 23. He's not talking about that's a different chapter here. I thought you're talking about the number of years. You're talking about the cave who slept for 309 years. That's different story here. قل كم لبثتم في الأرض عدد سنين. You know what? Qul or qala, both of them are stupid in that verse, to be honest with you. Say or he said, it makes no difference. What a question to ask.
But apparently he will say it in the future. That's wonderful.
No, it's because of the rest of the text, I think. If you look at the contextual verses, it's in the future tense.
No,
and so
you cannot add or say to the verse. That is dumb. That is written. Qul is present tense. Qala is past tense. No future tense for it. He did not say سوف
the
يقول.
previous verse and the following verse, there is a future tense. And if you keep the present tense here, it makes sort of an incoherence which could not fit a divine text. And if you want a text to be divine, you have to translate it in the future tense in order to maintain coherence.
This was Quran chapter 23 and verse 112. I'm looking it up right now here in Arabic.
Yeah, I don't have the Arabic. I have only the English translation here.
Yeah, but I have it in my own computer here. Here's 112.
Yeah, he will say, if you look at 113, 114. So maybe it was modified just to, but I'm just talking here on about the English translation. Why did it translate Kala as will say?
I see. Qala is perfect because he's asking. He's asking, how long did you stay on earth? They said, well, a day or some of a day. Let's ask those who are counting. Are you kidding me? What a stupid conversation to start with. I mean, do you really believe, guys, let me get back to the do you really believe that Allah will have this conversation with all the people who are going to be judged in the day of judgment? How long did he stay? We do not know. How long did he stay? We do not know how to stay. He was spent like the next few hundred years to ask the simple question to the billions of people who died.
No. I think it's only rhetoric from a preacher or who is addressing an audience. It's only and you see, impersonating God as a preacher, it's common rhetoric also.
You talk about people as alive right now on earth.
Excuse me, Usama, I didn't get you.
Are you talking in these verses, Quran chapter 23, verse 111, 112?
It might be.
No.
As well as in the whole of the Quran.
Let's read 111. What 111 said. 111, Quran chapter 23, 111. Here's 23.
Indeed, they have rewarded them this day for their patient endurance, that they are the attainers of success.
Surely I have rewarded them today for their patience. That is their judgment. That's Allah speaking to the good one, the believers who were patient. And then the Father said,
within the Islamic narrative, it's supposed to be Allah, of course. But
Allah is speaking to the people who is already rewarding them.
But actually, it's just a man preaching, impersonating God. You see, it's common tactic, a common rhetoric when you preach. Or it's the same within the Bible. Within the Bible, you see many prophets or supposedly prophets impersonating God when they speak. The thing with the Quran, many Muslims think it's a divine text because God speaks in it. But anyone can speak instead of God. Anyone can impersonate God. It's not because it looks like God that it is God. You see,
Let me
it
tell you
might
Well,
just be the verbatim
yeah,
of a preacher preaching.
yes, but
let
I
me
would
let
just
me
add
tell
that
you
if
something
somebody, I'll say that if
before you.
somebody wants to impersonate God, they need to at least know a bit of grammar. I think that is
Yeah,
a given,
I
and they should
agree.
start with that and then building up from there.
Yeah, I agree. So my take on this, that it would be a lame preacher trying to impersonate God and making grammar faults.
And
Maybe
You know,
Saudis
it's amazing.
and the,
Yeah.
can you guys hear me? And the Saudis actually accepted it in 2023,
Yeah.
2020, and 2019. This is an article of 2020. Saudi Journal, right now it is defunct. Like they defunced it. I have to capture it from Wayback Machine so that you can actually get the previous article. Saudi journalist Ahmad Hashim, on his article published on the 10th January 2020 on the Saudi Opinions website, said that the Quran as it known today was written during the reign of the third Caliph of Islam, Uthman ibn Affan, in the Uthmanic script, named after the Caliph under whose ruling it was written. Therefore, there was no reason to hold the writing sacred, as the overwhelming majority of the Muslim around the world are won't do, as it is human intervention. The author argued that presenting numerous examples of spelling errors, and he argued that there were nearly
Yeah.
2,500 errors of spellings and grammar that were made, which remain part of the Quran as of today.
Hmm.
The second article, authored by the website Aleph by Jerjis Gulzada, a writer and political analyst of Kurdish Iraqi origin and the editor of Iraqi magazine Baghdad, published on the 20th of July 2022, also argued that it is irrational to hold the script as sacred and demonstrate more errors than 2,500. Memari, which provided a translation of the article, reported he calls to publish an amended version of the Quran using modern spelling because it presents it is not suitable for Islamic nation in the modern world and especially the non-Arab Muslim worlds to have this. Now, this article is defunct. Memari article was also defunct. So right now I had to get it from the Wayback Machine as well. Can you show my other screen now?
By
Brother
the way,
Lloyd, can you
so
show the
this
other screen?
reporter, maybe Lloyd could invite this person
Okay.
for an interview when he comes out of prison.
Now he's
Um,
saying, let's look at this one. There is Baikum Jao, forget that. Let's go to the easiest one. It says in 54 instances, the name Ibrahim appears as Ibrahim. So if we go to the Bible, there was Ibrahim, and then it was
No. But
later.
was that Adam? It's Abraham. Alif
Abraham.
Behra, Alif Mim. Was the H. There's no Abraham. Abraham, and then God changed his name to Ibrahim. Yeah.
Exactly, but when you are translineating it, you can have that. But what I'm saying is that Quran actually kind of took biblical name in a way which was there before him, but now what they do is they put a zair, a dash underneath here to make it sound like Ibrahim. If you
Okay.
put a zair, if you put a dash underneath ha, it will
Let's
kind
take.
of pronounce like Ibrahim without a ya,
Yeah, I got
right?
your point. I got your point. But let me say it
So,
quickly here.
but this
When
is
you
not what I'm
read,
saying. I'm not saying that. These
I
are
know,
Saudi
all this,
journalists are saying that.
but I'd like to respond to that quickly. When
Yes,
you talk
yes.
about Fata Yud'a Ibrahim, a young man was called Ibrahim. That's wrong because when Abraham was a Fata, a young man, his name was Abraham, not Ibrahim. The name changed when he's 100 years old. So the problem, if the Quran used Abraham and Ibrahim and they corrected by making Ibrahim to sound the same everywhere, he used Muhammad or Allah or Jibril used the wrong name for Abraham at the wrong time of his life.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They have no idea what the Bible is saying. They have no idea. They are changing Ibrahim to Abraham to Ibrahim as well. And Allah did its
The
mistake. I actually showed these 45 instances. So Abraham
Yeah.
is not just way before he was called by a so-called Allah, quotes and quotes, and Abraham was after he was called by Allah, quotes and quotes. It's a mix and match, and Allah does not know when Ibrahim was called Ibrahim and when Ibrahim was called Abraham. So there are
And
4 instances where Abraham is written as Ibrahim. The rest of the 54 instances it was written as Abraham, but they put a
sure.
dash underneath it to make it
Yeah.
sound like Ibrahim.
Chaos. Now, when Abraham and Ibrahim are close, how can you tell me Jacob, Yaqub, Allah changed his name in the Quran to Israel? I mean, how are you gonna fix that?
I'm not going to fix that. I'm just saying that the Islamic scholars are saying, for example, samawat. What is samawat? The word
Somewhat.
samawat, seen, meme, alif, waw, alif, te, samawat, skies, is written in the way only once. Only. The rest of the 189 times, samawat is written incorrectly without the alif. It sounds as somewhat, somewhat. It is written as somewhat. So the current Quran, which is supposedly the words of Allah, perfectly preserved in the Saba Ahruf, has current errors in it from the Razm. And I told brother JC and brother Odin before, but I will prove it to you that the Quran has the Razm issues as well. When they say the Razms are same, it is not the same. Even the current Quran, or Hafs Quran, has so many Razm issues, let alone the diacritical marking issues. So we went through all the diacritical marking issues, and now I'm telling you there are Razm issues in the Quran as it is. For example, the word Quran is appearing 68 times without the letter Alif. How can it be? How can you read it as Quran without the letter Alif? So you add a, like you call it, dagger Alif, which is nothing. They are fixing the Razm issues by adding a dagger Alif.
Yeah.
They're literally fixing the Razm issues, because otherwise it's Quran. It's Quran. It's not Quran. It's Quran. So that is why this is very important. The word year, sana, appear 8 times without the letter ta, ha. So whenever you have a ta in the end, it's not there. Usama, how do you say year in Arabic? Sinna?
Sana. No, Sana.
Without the ta in the end, how will you pronounce it?
That's not a word. I'm serious.
And 5 times it is written with the ta, which is the alif ba ta, the third ta, not ha ta.
We call it ta maftuha, and sana ta marbuta, which is above it. It's 2 different
So ta marbut and ta sada. So imagine they don't even know where to put ta marbut and where to put ta.
It's a chaos. It's a good luck chaos Quran.
So
it's
yes,
nice
when your Egyptian PhD professor actually said that the Quranic Arabic is stupid and idiotic, he was actually right. Even their own Arabic scholars are saying that. By the way, let me give you the link for everyone to have this link, because you will not be able to find this link without using the Wayback Machine. So they actually defunct it. So brother lawyer, I'm going to put it into private. You share it with your people so that these guys can actually share it with everyone else.
Okay.
Because this is very important. This is very solid. I've done that in English channel maybe 3 times in the past. And today when I was trying to open it, it was defunct. So I had to use the Wayback Machine to capture the older link.
That's very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop
Adam,
it
can
in
you
the-
actually go back 1400 years, please, on the Wayback Machine?
No, it just goes back maybe till 2005 or 6, something like that.
Oh, that's a shame. Would be great to actually know what happened 1400 years ago. What do you think, Lloyd, about all of these perfectly preserved books?
I think that Allah works in mysterious ways. We need,
I know you're gonna say that, Mr. Lloyd.
But look, I mean, you know what? I mean, the earliest Arabic Quran we know of is what, 8th century from the Sinai Peninsula, right? But was 8th to 9th century, late 8th, whatever. But we do know there was an Ethiopic Quran in the 2nd, 3rd century in that region. Could it be that some of this was translation from the original Ge'ez, right? So could it be that part of it is, I mean, there might be an Aramaic influence, but there's also, we know that when the Aksumite kingdom was in charge or very much influential in that region, they had their own Bible with them, a complete Bible. So could that language have then strongly influenced them as well? Because we know that the languages overlap very strongly in terms of sounds and other things.
Brother, will you mind showing your presentation slide where you showed how many words are coming from which language in the Quran? You had that slide. That will actually make this thing, your statement, much clearer to the people. Like 18,000 words from the Habesha language and some, like you had it, you had a full slide. I know you played it on my channel one day.
That line, statistic numbers.
That's very good.
You know, things I have to do for you guys, you know?
Ah, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, mashallah, mashallah.
So how many words are coming from Ethiopic language?
So if you look at this, okay, so Ethiopic and as well if you add
Down.
Amharic. Now look, remember this is a 1937, 1939 survey, so it's a little out of date. We know that the numbers aren't exactly accurate. There's more now. But it's, if you look here, you're looking at 196 words from the Ethiopic. Right, so the vast bulk is from the Syriac, Aramaic, Hebrew, and Greek. And then number 5 would be Ethiopic here.
What is the row number F, which is the red one? What is that?
Which one? Sorry, the row
The
number
column
F.
F.
This
Column.
is the
Why is it?
increase versus the previous row. So for instance, no, it's the increase. So from Pahlavi, right, which is like Persian and Pahlavi here, right? The difference between row 7 from Persian to Pahlavi, increase of 2 words versus the previous one. Then we suddenly jump by 106 words from 90 to 196, which is the increase to Ethiopic from the Pahlavi or Pahlavi. And then Greek, there's only 9 more words in Greek than there is in the Ethiopic.
So you had another one which had 1,800 words. Where is that?
No, that's the total. So if you look at the total here, you're looking at roughly 2,059 words that are foreign words.
Oh yeah, so
foreign words
the combination of the rest of the words are 1,800 when we look into it. So they are all borrowed words.
So these would seem to be, yeah. So I mean, I don't think there's a modern version of this, but when I looked into it, you can find even more words in the Ethiopic. Because look, a lot of people talk about what's it, Petra, right? But if you look at Petra, you'd think you'd see more Coptic, but you don't. I mean, you see only here 10 words in the Coptic, right? But you have 200 words in Ethiopic. It's 20 times more. So that tells you there's a lot more influence coming from Ethiopia.
The main influence here is Aramaic. Syriac, Aramaic, and Hebrew.
I mean, that's obvious, but I'm just looking at
thing, but,
yeah. You know?
So the first hijrah Muhammad did was in Habsha. That's Ethiopia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why first hijrah is very important.
28 people or so he sent to Habesha.
And
but then also, if you look at the Persian options, right? Look at Pahlavi and Persian. I think they should be related. I mean, there's also a lot of words there.
188 approximately.
Yeah, not as much as the 3 first rows.
Yeah, but you still have a large percentage, 178 words from Persia. That's an interesting total. I mean, so this is significant. If you look at these, I think this is fairly significant.
Yeah.
Akkadian as well. I mean, so where's the Akkadian coming from? And then South Arabian would be like Yemeni and stuff like that. Even Armenian. I mean, so there's a whole mix here. If you look at that.
But Brother Lloyd, do you know that majority of Arab Muslims do not know that these are foreign words of the Quran? As myself, I used to think these are Arabic words, and I just don't know what it means because it's a classic Arabic, old Quran in the Arabic language. That was the biggest lie being given to me. And then when I started digging into the dictionaries to find the meaning, and I could not find the meaning, so I went to the scholars' interpretation, and they gave me 10 different opinions for the same word. It's like, remember mani. It's a little water, which is man's sperm, or could have actually meaning lots of water, like an ocean.
Mhm.
How can a word have meaning of little water and same time have an ocean amount of water?
No, brother, the message, the best is the Messiah.
Yeah.
Messiah.
Yeah.
How do they
Yeah.
translate Messiah?
You know,
How do
someone
they translate
mentioned.
Messiah?
You know what's interesting?
I-
For instance, if you look at just an offhand thought here, you look at the name Qatar, right? People ask, where does this name of this country come from? And if you talk to the scholars, they'll say, nobody knows. It's a big secret. We think it might have something to do with water. That's about as close as you can get. But if you
Yeah.
look back into the pre-Arabian days, the closest thing you'll find to the name is the god Qatar wa Hasis, right? Which is a pagan god which fought with the god of the sea and basically defeated the god of the sea. So they something to do with water, right? Because the gods were fighting, and it's the god of the flood versus the god of the ocean or something like that. And so there's stuff that they borrow from. And I would think that the reason you maybe have so little South Arabian is they try to maybe get rid of all of that and replace it with foreign words to get rid of the pagan influences so that it's not so obvious.
Yeah. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Well,
But yeah, Syriac and
Exactly.
Aramaic play a big role here. You know, there's
And
definitely, I
Hebrew.
mean,
And Hebrew.
and Hebrew, yeah. So you definitely have a big, and the Greek. I mean, but these here make up a big chunk of this. I mean, let's look at that. And Armenian, let's put that in there. That's a big chunk. Armenian, South Arabian, Akkadian, Persian, Pahlavi, Ethiopic, Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and
It's
Syriac.
also
I mean,
the type of words that are used. If you look into it, almost every religious word or theological word in the Quran comes from Aramaic or Hebrew.
that's
Such
interesting.
things like Al-Masih, I don't know, things like a surah, or things like Ruah, the spirit, and so on. There is a study by Robert Kerr on this exact topic.
I mean, so 33%.
It's not a matter of percentage. It's that all of the theological and religious vocabulary from the
phrases,
Quran
yeah.
comes from Aramaic or Hebrew. So it comes from Christianity and Judaism.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't forget the
Because
word Tawhid comes out of the Ethiopic. I mean, that's an important term that they borrowed it from Ethiopia.
There's a name for Satan also that comes from Ethiopia and so on. There are things like this, but it's not as huge as what Robert Kerr tells in his article. His article is called Aramaism in the Quran. Let me get the reference.
I have a question. Why Muhammad mentioned shayateen in the plural when there's only one shaitan, which is Satan?
Because Allah said that there are children of shaitan. Don't you forget that if you read the interpretation of that verse, you will know that shaitan was given a penis on the right thigh and a vagina on the left side. So he does dung 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 and creates 10 eggs, and from each egg there is a shaitan that comes out. Shaitan in the Islam is a omnipresent because shaitan runs in your veins like blood, according to Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari. So that's why it's plural.
Yeah, but Adam, I saw that these what come out of the eggs is jinn, not shayateen, not
No, it's shaitan.
Satans.
They're all Satans.
Shaitan?
Shaitan, if you read the tafsir, it says, does the shaitan has a wife? And they say, no, shaitan does not have a wife. That's why Allah created shaitan with the penis in the right thigh and left thigh. Let me show it to you. Do you want me to show it to you, the tafsir?
No. I know what you're saying. But what I'm saying
we
is,
need to use words winky and vajayjay, okay? Winky and vajayjay.
We are not kids.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
but
it is very good.
listening
We
to
have to
this.
try to. We have to really make sure that you don't get demonetized. So we have to use.
Yeah, no, we are
right
training
words.
a new generation of kids. People are having their kids listen to us and saying, learn from these men.
Yeah.
So we gotta we gotta.
Okay.
But
Winky and what?
JJ.
AJ.
JJ. Winky and JJ. Okay.
Vajayjay.
Fine.
Vajayjay.
What? JJ?
Vajayjay.
Where JJ? Okay.
Just kidding with you, man. But
Let them believe whatever you
But I
tell
do
them.
use
Now.
the
Look,
word vajayjay all the
oh,
time. So
he's a global. He believe whatever lies you guys share.
Man, these guys, like these writers and authors were like drunk, man, when they were writing these tafsir as well.
Okay, warning, warning. Before you start showing these pictures, warning.
I'm not showing pictures, brother.
Oh, you're not. I thought you're gonna share them.
Oh, you want me to share it? I can do that. You guys continue. Let me
Actually,
find it.
sure. So before that, Hadith, Lloyd, that spreadsheet that you actually showed, something I never noticed before is like all of the languages that appear at the top, they happen to be the first ones conquered by Islam, as though Islam comes first and then they write the book. I know it's not happening, but it's odd. So Syria, the
yeah,
Islamic
that's
Empire, the
interesting.
Caliphate goes there. Hebrew, well, those regions, Ethiopia, Pahlavi, Persian, Iraq.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
mm,
Akkadian would be Iraq. I think so.
mhm.
Yeah, that would make sense. Then they went into Armenia. Yeah, that makes sense. Lebanon, Phoenician. Yep, that would make
No,
sense.
it's a very Middle Eastern God that speaks in the Quran. He does not speak from Australia, from India, from Mexico. He speaks from the very place where there were religious conflicts about the Bible and heresies and so on. So
Mhm.
it's kind of
And
obvious that Islam comes from this, from the biblical milieu, the biblical context. It's not a new
and
religion.
does
It's a
anyone
sect or a cult from Middle East that developed.
and does anyone know when they imposed the belief that you couldn't say that the Quran had any words that were not Arabic? Does anyone know? I think there was a fatwa or something where they said it's now forbidden to say that a single word in the Quran is not Arabic. Or
Yeah,
have I imagined that?
it is so amazing when I translated my Quran. I put 279 words. I thought I was very smart, but that was 15 years ago. And now we see that more and more. All right. واختلف أهل وهل لإبليس. Come on, you make it big and no lose.
No, I'm making it
واختلف
big for you.
أهل إبليس ذريته من صلبه فقال الشعب سألني. Okay, they disagree about is if Iblis have his own
Iblis is
children.
shaitan, right? So Iblis is a
Yeah,
singular shaitan. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
of course. الشعبي asked سألني رجل فقال somebody asked him, so he said هل إبليس زوجة? Does Iblis have a wife? فقلت إن ذلك عرس لم أشهده. He said that is a wedding I did not attend. ثم ذكرته قال فتخذون ذريته لها. Then he mentioned the verse of Allah and you took him and his descendant as friends. فعلمت أنه لا تكون ذريته إلا من زوجة. So I know that he could not have children except from a wife. فقلت نعم. So I said yes. وقال مجاهد. And Mujahid said, إن إبليس أدخل فرجه في فرج نفسه فباض 5 بيضات. Mujahid said, Satan entered his penis in his own vagina and he produced 5 eggs. And that is the source of his children. وقيل أن الله تعالى خلق له في فخذه اليمنى ذكرا. And it was said that Allah exalted, He created in him, that is Satan, in his right leg a penis, وفي اليسرى فرجا, and in the left leg a vagina. فهو ينكح هذا بهذا. And he if this by that. فيخرج له كل يوم 10 بيضات. So he will produce to himself every day 10 eggs. ويخرج من كل بيضة 70 شيطانا. And he bring from every egg 70 Satan وشيطانا and female Satan. فهو يخرج وهو يطير. So he bring out and he fly. وأعظمهم عند أبيهم منزلة أعظمهم. I can't read man.
Okay, forget that.
That's
So,
enough. That's enough.
so this is how they do the tafsir, the interpretation of the verse of Allah, that if shaitan is Iblis is just a male, how can he has his zuriyat, his children, his descendants?
The verse of the Quran said, you take him and his descendants as friends. That is a verse.
Yeah. So now, if he doesn't have a wife, how does he create babies? So they are explaining it. So like I have the receipts, man, and this is not a small book. You know who's writing it? Take a wild guess. Your favorite scholar, Osama.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Al
Al-Qurtubi.
Qurtubi.
It is the closest to Muhammad. Literally 200 years after Muhammad. I prefer Al-Qurtubi than Ibn Kathir or Al-Jalalain. It's a joke. Sometimes he just repeats the verse. Baydawi, the Makhshari also is okay. But Al-Qurtubi is the best. Yeah, I like Al-Qurtubi.
And then now, do you like his medical science? And by the way, you did not use Vijay Jay and Ding Dong.
Sorry,
I
I'm
forgot.
sorry. That is how Lloyd works, man. I'm
You know,
Lloyd.
the things that you said on this channel, you know.
Osama, in this
But-
channel, you have to say Ding Ding and Vijay Jay.
The JJ. It's not very, you know, it's not very hard.
Now you see, I don't speak that language. I just know what Allah said. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Do you know, guys, we've been talking for over 2 hours?
Yusuf
I mean-
Yusuf is saying my 11 years old boy just paused whatever he was doing and looked funny at me. I think he's traumatized. Thanks to Osama.
This time.
That's
All right.
it's just to help people.
Guys, you can talk here for another 10 hours, but guess what? I have a house loaded with family and friends. My son is
Right.
getting married tomorrow. I have to
Okay,
say,
so
I love you all. I appreciate you. And
Your son
can-
is getting married tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yes, sir.
You never invited all of us? So mean of you.
Meat and vegetables. Hey, come on down. You're welcome to come any day, any
now
hour.
he
Good
tells
luck.
us the day
Now
before.
you can't tell us like the 18 hours notice kind of a thing. That's just so
I
mean of you.
invited you, Adam, liar, and you're far away. You cannot come to me. So big deal.
But at least I can pull your legs anyways.
I tell you what.
Right.
In his first anniversary, we'll bring everybody to come. We'll have a great celebration. MashaAllah.
Right.
We even bring Lloyd all the way from Europe. Man, that's a long trip. And brother Odie, you will fly from Europe, or I don't know what country is it. But come on down, guys. We'll have you on our first son anniversary. And I told them, listen, I'm not a rush about children. 10 months, I'm willing to wait. As long as I can hold
10
that
months?
baby. In 10 months. Yeah,
Dude,
10
10
months.
years
And
you
I
can
said,
wait. It's his life.
and I said, numbers means nothing. 12 is okay. Anything above that, it's up to you.
Right.
I
So-
need
so-
12 Dakdok. Listen. When we Middle Eastern say 12, we're talking about 12 young men, not 12 girls. The girls don't count. Ask Allah, ask Muhammad. Okay?
So you want
JC, are we
12
doing-
young men. So by the time you have 12 young men, he might have 40 total number of children.
I don't care. The other doesn't count. Ask Allah. Ask Muhammad. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Yeah. So JC, are we doing a part 2 sometime in the future?
Well, with
Absolutely.
Qira'at, we could do like
10
more
parts.
than. Well, yeah, we could be talking
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah, we
December
are
going to be a
prepared.
tough,
So.
tough month for me. So, I mean, the next weekend that I'm potentially available is only going to be like the 19th, 20th, maybe, and I'm not sure yet. So that's about the next time I can do it on a weekend. Otherwise, I'm traveling most weekends, and during the week is a possibility. September is going to be tough. But yeah, so guys, this has been really interesting. Picked up a few very interesting little facts. You know. So
Yes,
yeah, so we can
absolutely.
call it a night. So okay, so last words. So Odon, we'll start with you then. Last words. What are your thoughts? And you know, do you think we should invite Adam and Usama back? Do you think they deserve to come back on?
We
Yeah,
will
but-
going to
but,
change the stream like in 200 parts. So FYI, think
Of
before
course,
you invite us.
definitely. We should have them, but we should also have someone controlling them. You know.
I know. We'll
Is that-
ask Adam's mom to come on and just stand behind him while he's doing this.
Do you see what I have in my hand? That's how much I charge.
$1,000 note. Come on,
Every
that's a
show.
joke, right?
That's a, what do you mean it's a joke? That's $1,000. That's how much I got paid today. How much you have,
No.
Lloyd?
That's not
Woohoo!
a. That's
I
not
got
a
like
50
two.
50 million
50
Zimbabwe
million.
dollars.
Ooh, mashallah, 50 million. I'm super rich. You are my special friend. I will come and retire and spend this with you,
50
man.
million Zimbabwe dollars. This is my internet money. My magic internet money.
I just wonder how much this is in US dollars. Like $4?
Zero. Literally zero. It's zero in any dollar.
How many Zimbabwe is equal to $1?
I mean, look, they have a new currency now, but that's the old dollar. It's literally worth nothing. It's $50 million. And I
Man, listen, Lloyd. For years,
Lloyd is stuck.
he's frozen. For years, Lloyd, I was looking for a rich friend. You hold that 50 million in your hand. My heart was jumping for joy. And now you tell me it's not worth anything. I'm back to square one again.
it's
Maybe.
like, yeah, I had a friend once who said to me, Lloyd, do you remember when I was broke? I had no money. I was poor. And you borrowed me money and I promised I would pay it back. And I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, I just want to let you know I'm broke again.
Your friend is killing me. That's how I feel right now. I felt so good about having you as a rich friend. And then guess what? I'm broke again. MashaAllah. This is awesome. I should stick with people like you the rest of my life.
Bloody hell. So final word. Then Usama can go to his wedding,
Final word. I'll give it to you so I can leave. We love the Muslim people. We're trying to be educators here, but it's hard even to talk about all this huge problem of 1,500 pages, I believe. Brother JC can correct me if I said it wrong, of errors. I mean, the dream or the drama you have in your head, the propaganda, the brainwashing, you grew up all your life, believe because your grandpa and your father and you, and most likely your children and grandchildren will continue to believe that lie that we have a perfect Quran in the Arabic language, not one dot or not one word, not one pronunciation is perfect. This is a lie. And the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is this. That is the only miracle of Islam. Muhammad, without his perfect, holy word of Allah in the Quran, he have nothing else. And that's holy. It became lots of holes. I mean, literally, there's not a page in the Quran does not have bunch of holes, which says that there is errors in the Quran. And the beauty about that miracle, which causes the Muslim to stick with the religion, is exposed now. Now you can go online. Now you can listen to our broadcast. Now you can investigate the things we teach here. And now you can find for yourself. Free yourself, please. Free your children. If you still have a parents or grandparents, free them from that great deception and lie about the perfect, unchanged word of Allah. Because it's not the word of God and it's not perfect. It's anything but perfect. Cut the chain. Cut the chain. Set at least yourself and the future of your children free from that cult. And I say that in love and respect. We love the Muslim people and we want to see them saved. Not to become an atheist, because the sad thing, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Millions of Muslims are finding these facts and leaving Islam. And guess what? Satan is laughing. Ha, 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 ha. Yes, they were Muslim and they were dying to go to hell. Now they're atheists and they're dying to go to be with Muhammad in the same hell, because there's no hell number 2. So my heart desire is not you to leave Islam and become an atheist. No. For you to believe Islam and come to Jesus. Become a Christian. As much as I want you to investigate the Quran, I also want you to investigate another book. And that book is called the Holy Bible. And in the Word of God in the Bible, you find the difference between the propaganda, Quran, and Islam, and the truth of the love of God. Thank you so much. Love you all. I have to go, but we'll meet again. God bless you all.
Righto. So thank you. Odon, last word. JC, Adam, keep it short.
Well, thank
Allahu
you very
Akbar
much for-
wa Yeshua Akbarul Azim. God bless you all.
Amen.
Yeah, God
Amen.
bless you all. Take care. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. And thank you, Usama, for your final words.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's been great. So we'll do this again. Yeah, this Quran stand up. Will the real Quran please stand up? Yeah. So yeah, I guess I mean, but yeah, so we will see you Usama, I guess, on Tuesday, and guys, we'll do some other things this week. So guys, thank you all very much. Really hope it's been entertaining, but not only that, informative. There are serious issues with the Quran. There is not one Quran. There are many Qurans. When Muslims say the Quran, ask them which one. So guys, take care. Good night. God bless, and we shall see you all soon. Everyone, thanks very much for joining. It's been really wonderful. Good night.